Who are the 15 greatest players in the history of every NBA franchise? I've created a formula to determine that. What's up, everybody? I'm sharing with you a project that I hold near and dear to my heart. It's called the Franchise Player Value Rating, or the FPVR for short. Now, what is this exactly? It's a formula I created back in 2011 while I was still a featured columnist for Bleacher Report, and it's designed to gauge the overall value of a player to any and every organization they've played at least 3 seasons with. When I say value, I'm speaking of the player's value to the team's on-court success and to its fan base. The formula is designed to place team success and tenure at a high priority. You'll notice members of dynasties do very well in the FPVR. Players with gaudy statistics but no team success don't rate as highly as you might think. This is not a popularity contest, and it's not a prisoner of recency. You may look at some players that don't rank in their team's top 15 and scratch your head, but if you scan the numbers, you'll see why they didn't make the cut. Also, the FPVR is a living formula. Every year the numbers change. If there is a player still active on a roster, his FPVR rating could go up, down, or stay the same. It all depends on the stats. So how does it work? Well, here's a look. It's a point system, and there are 19 different categories / awards / stats that a player can accumulate points for his FPVR. It starts off with years of service. Players get 3 points for every year on a team. The scoring average goes at face value. If a player averaged 31 points per game during their time with a specific organization, they get 31 points for their scoring average. The same thing goes for rebounding, assist average, steal average, and block average. You'll notice asterisks next to steal and block, and I'll get more into that a little bit later on. Now let's go into the team success component and some of the awards. You get 3 points for being a part of a championship winning team. 1 point for simply being on a team that makes the postseason. 1.5 points for a team that makes the conference finals. You get 2 points for being on a team that made the NBA finals. You get 5 points for being an NBA All-Star. So whether or not they played or not, if they were elected to the All-Star game in that specific season or any of the seasons, you get 5 points for every All-Star appearance. 0.5 points for being an All-Star game MVP. Some of the major points that come along in the FPVR come in the MVP awards and some of the All-NBA awards. NBA MVP for an entire season gets 10 points. NBA Finals MVP gets 10 points. Let's look at the All-NBA team. First team All-NBA, 8 points. Second team All-NBA, 5 points. Third team All-NBA, 3 points. The Rookie of the Year, 3 points. The Defensive Player of the Year, and the 6-man award, also 3 points, and you'll also notice there's an asterisk next to them, and we'll talk about that as well. All defensive team, first team is 2 points. All defensive first team, all defensive second team is 1 point, and all defensive third team is 0.5 points. Now, some stats and awards weren't always kept or given out, thus we had the asterisks. Steals and blocks became an official stat during the 1973-74 season. The first year the Defensive Player of the Year and 6-man award were given out was the 1982 and 83 season. To compensate for the absence of steals and blocks for older players, each of them is given credit for averaging 1 apiece in the 2 categories. There's no way to compensate for 6-man or Defensive Player of the Year, but the formula appears to balance out overall because the league had fewer teams in the earlier days of the NBA. Fewer teams led to more postseason appearances, which carried value in the FPVR. Finally, ABA stats have not been included in the formula. This is purely an NBA thing. In 2011, I published this article listing the top 10 FPVRs per organization, and I've recently begun a project to spread that out to the top 15. So why 15? As many of my longtime subscribers know, I enjoy blending 2 of my biggest passions whenever I get a chance. I love sports video games. Specifically in this instance, I love NBA 2K, and a full roster on the game is 15 players, 13 actives, and 2 reserves, which is also the format for the real NBA. Every year I create an Ultimate Legends roster, which is the best players in each franchise's history. I thought it would be cool to base this year's roster on the FPVR. So for the first time ever, All of the Legends rosters teams will be based on the top 15 players in each organization's history according to the FPVR. Stay tuned for the unveiling of each team's top 15. And of course, Junior and I will continue to live stream entire teams on Wednesday evenings. As always, I appreciate you watching. God bless.